Thank you everyone for joining, and welcome to our first Luxent Summer Series webinars. This specific webinar is about NetSuite EPM and the powerful tools that it provides. And as we move through this webinar, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the Q&A panel, and we will do our best to answer them live as they come in. And if we're not able to answer them live, we will follow up with you to answer your questions. So let's get started again. All right, so we're super excited to be kicking off our Luxent Summer Series, where we'll be diving into various aspects of NetSuite to help you make the most out of all of these different powerful tools that NetSuite has to offer. Each webinar that we will be hosting will cover different topics like bill capture, WMS, NetSuite, and AI to provide you guys with practical insights and real-world examples from our consulting team. And if there are any other topics that you guys might be interested in after the webinar, we will have a survey that will pop up where you guys can provide some insight into what you might be interested in learning more about. This series was designed to help support your business goals and allow your teams the ability to learn more about what NetSuite has to offer from the Luxent team. Okay, so to start, we'll do a quick introduction to Kevin and what he has as far as experience with NetSuite EPM, an overview of NetSuite Enterprise Performance Management, or EPM for short, a deep dive into NetSuite planning and budgeting, a demonstration of the product, and then an insight into NetSuite's EPM packaging, because it can be quite confusing, and then questions and answers and a closing. All right, so today, as we dive into NetSuite EPM with Kevin Corlett, who is a senior EPM architect, he has over 29 years of experience in Oracle EPM and NetSuite planning and budgeting, and Kevin has led numerous successful implementations for top clients like Moderna and Verizon. So let's explore how NetSuite EPM can work for your business. All right, Kevin, I will pass it to you now.
Thank you, Brooke. Well, let's get started with why EPM matters today. Today's CEOs, CFOs, controllers, and FP&A managers, and by the way, I think we probably have one of each of those roles on our call today. You are all well aware of the typical pain points of the financial management process in your companies. Many, if not most of you, are still relying on spreadsheets, which are flexible and they look great, but they're prone to errors. Formulas can get out of whack, data can be stale. Version control with spreadsheets can be an absolute nightmare that can lead to delays, especially during your stressful month-end close processes or quarterly close processes. In fact, studies showed that manual processes can lead to 20% more errors in your forecasts over an automated process, such as Oracle and NetSuite EPM provides. Add to that today's volatility in our markets, like inflation or maybe supply chain disruptions that have resulted from, let's just say, these new tariffs changing kind of on a daily basis. You need real-time, up-to-date insights to stay ahead of the game. And for growing businesses, scalability and compliance are key concerns. And if you're a multinational company, then international tax reporting is required, and that can be a nightmare. So all of these things make your financial management very difficult at sometimes and painful at best without some great powerful tools to assist. And that's where Enterprise Performance Management, or EPM, comes in. So EPM at its heart aligns your business strategy with execution. Strategy is represented through your planning and budgeting and forecasting process. So you take your strategies and apply resources to various activities in your business, and that's reflected in your budget. Execution is measured through reporting and analytics. So we're going to compare your actual results through your financial management applications and collection of that data and compare that to your plan. And if you're doing that once or twice a year, then you have no time to respond to those dynamic elements in the market that are impacting your business. You need real-time reporting and analytics that let you see into your business instantaneously at some points in time. Um, you need to be able to compare planned activities to actual or, and this is important, predicted results, and allow managers or enable them to take actions early to fine tune your execution plan to make changes to stay on course. So doing that as a monthly activity with the latest data really prepares you to make better decisions and manage your business more effectively. And NetSuite EPM takes this further by automating these processes. So EPM as a process, you can do with spreadsheets, you can do with, a variety of other tools, but a tool such as NetSuite EPM and its core modules automate these processes, eliminating data and process silos, and providing a single source of truth. So everyone in your organization, the controllers, FP&A, CEO, everyone is seeing all of the same data at the same time, and only one version of that, unlike, in a spreadsheet world where everyone might have their own spreadsheet, each team has extracted their own data and is relying on their own processes to manipulate that data. Everyone can be seeing different outcomes and responding differently. So it's very important that everyone be managing the business to a single source of truth. The entire product suite is built on top of Oracle's Fusion Cloud EPM. So it's NetSuite has their version, but Oracle's version has been around for, well, I can tell you almost 30 years from the very beginning, but it's been an evolving technology, and in its current state, been around for a little over 11, 12 years in the cloud. And it has been leveraged by some of the world's largest multinational firms. But NetSuite has now been able to take this very powerful platform and collection of applications and bundle them in a suite that is deeply discounted and affordable for small and mid-sized companies. So because of this, NetSuite EPM is a real game changer for these small and mid-sized companies looking to boost efficiency and be able to make data-driven decisions that they may not have been able to do in the past. So let's explore what NetSuite offers in the EPM suite. So going back again, what is EPM at its core? It's both a process and a technology. So we kind of distinguish the two, because EPM you can do with spreadsheets, as you most probably know. But you can also leverage technology to enable that to be more efficient, more automated, more accurate, and to translate into actionable results quicker. It covers planning and budgeting, forecasting, account reconciliation, financial close, and reporting. So, like I said, it's built on this powerful Oracle Fusion Cloud platform that brings all these capabilities into a unified suite that integrates seamlessly with NetSuite ERP. And by integration, that means that your financial data is always up to date, and it eliminates that need for manual data transfers, the extracts of safe searches into Excel and then doing things with that and that manual manipulation. And all of these products talk together, so they're fully integrated within themselves. So your financial close data can flow seamlessly into your planning and budgeting application for reporting. And therefore you're able to see instantaneously not only your actuals from your ERP, but as the close, if you're leveraging close management, you'll be able to see those eliminations and journal entries in near real time reflected in your financial reporting over in planning and budgeting. The suite includes 6 modules, and they can be purchased together as a suite, or you can purchase them separately. and they come in two flavors that we'll get into a little bit more later, but standard edition and premium edition. So as I kind of go through this, we'll be covering mostly the premium edition subjects right now and covering EPM as a broader suite. But we're going to go towards the end and focus on showing you exactly what the standard edition provides and what that looks like. The 6 modules are planning and budgeting. We'll get to that in detail. Account reconciliation for automating your balance sheet tasks and managing the close process. And close management and consolidation streamlines your financial close. And if you haven't bought account reconciliation, you can kind of use the same embedded technology to manage your close with that product as well. And by that, we mean that you're going to be assigning tasks to other team members and make sure that the entire close executes in a very orchestrated manner. We'll get that in more detail. Corporate tax replanning for compliance, specifically for companies that do business across borders. So if you're multinational, that's a very important tool. Narrative reporting, which adds context to your financial statements. So think budget books, where you need to explain the budget to stakeholders, or even if you're public 10K, 10Q type reports, or it's often used for those. And then lastly, profitability and cost management to pinpoint what drives your bottom line, like for example, which customers or products are profitable and maybe those that aren't. So you'll be able to drive costs down and see how they impact various product or segment lines. And then let's not forget, it's not really included. It comes with every one of these products, but the utility called SmartView, which is your Excel add-in, and this provides unparalleled integration. There's no product on the market today that can do what SmartView does to access the information in these systems. And it integrates, it's not just an Excel add-in, it's actually a Microsoft Office add-in and works with Google Sheets and allows you to view and interact with the data from all the EPM modules directly in your spreadsheet, your Word document, or PowerPoint presentations. So together, all these modules replace spreadsheets and disconnected or fragmented systems, reducing errors and giving you real-time visibility into your business and your finances. So let's take a closer look at each one of these. And actually, if you go back a slide, we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into, say, planning and budgeting. Like I said, we'll get into that in a little more detail because I'm going to show you a demo of that. But it automates the labor-intensive tasks like creating budgets and forecasts. And it supports scenario modeling so you can plan for uncertainties like economic shifts or acquisitions. And then account reconciliation, it streamlines processes for reconciling your accounts payable, receivable, and bank transactions. So you can import your bank transactions and then align those to the data that's in your ERP. But it does a lot more than just transaction matching and reconciliation. Like I mentioned, it has a task management feature that lets you assign, close, checklist tasks to various team members, ensuring that all the steps are accounted for and that the handoffs between team members is efficient and timely. So no more are the days where somebody's relying on someone else to post a journal entry before they can go back and re-reconcile, and it hasn't been communicated to them that that's been done. As soon as that activity is complete, the user will submit the journal and they'll tag that task as complete, and it'll automatically send a message to the next person in line to do their task. So with this kind of guided and active management of the close process, customers can see their close compressed from weeks down to days. And actually, for some companies, the right size and the right activities, it can compress it down to like literally hours. So It's a very effective way of making sure that your close process not only is timely and gets done quickly, but that it's complete and accurate. And then close management and consolidation. This tool centralizes your financial close, ensuring data integrity across multiple entities. And so if you are a multi-entity organization and you have intercompany eliminations across those entities, yes, NetSuite can do that, and it can do it to a point. However, if you outgrow NetSuite and there's a certain scale that it can reach before you just run out of it can only support X number of entities, and then you need to spawn up another instance, and now you have two instances of NetSuite. Well, now it becomes impossible to do those eliminations across those two systems. And so close and consolidation bridges that gap. You bring the data from your disparate ERPs, which may or may not be NetSuite. So you may have acquired an ERP through an acquisition. Say it could be Great Plains, it could be QuickBooks, it could be SAP or another Oracle system. So you don't know when you go into those transactions what you're going to encounter. And you need to be able to quickly integrate their financials into your company's financials. And that can be challenging to do when you have these disparate charts of accounts that don't match up and for lots of reasons. And at the end of the day, you need that to be in one common chart of accounts. And the closing consolidation process in FCC or close management allows you to rationalize the data from each of those ERPs into that common chart of accounts and then perform those eliminations at that level. And also deals with multiple currencies. So this is really valuable when these entities span across countries or currencies. So bottom line, if you have multiple ERPs or you intend to go through mergers and acquisitions and you want to stage yourself to be prepared for those in the future, close management is an absolutely essential tool to managing your finances beyond that event. Corporate tax reporting, and we're still on the other side. This tool just simplifies compliance. So it's a way of aligning and mapping your tax calculations with your general ledger, but it supports foreign tax reporting such as IFRS or OECD, country by country, um, saving time and reducing errors by making sure that everything is, again, tied back to a single source of truth, but automatically and systematically mapped into these tax returns. And then narrative reporting, I mentioned that it's sort of like the your budget book or your 10Q. It's the ability to take financial reports, pretty highly formatted reports, but merge them with narratives, either inline on the report, so the data itself is annotated, or by combining text blocks with data blocks and charts and graphs and kind of come up with a very rich and robust document that integrates all this data. And it's all in real time. So once you prepared that report, if you have to go back and make changes to any of the underlying data, those changes are automatically reflected the next time you republish that report. So there's no going back and readjusting your spreadsheets and then taking screenshots and then going into that document, finding it and cutting and pasting, putting it in there. So this is a huge time saver for generating complex or verbose book reporting. And finally, profitability and cost management. This product dives into which customers, products, or segments drive your profits and help you allocate your resources wisely. So underneath the hood, it's a powerful allocation engine that allows you to allocate shared costs across departments, products, customers, or any other segment you choose. But unlike today's high performance automobiles that you cannot maintain, the allocation rules are actually transparent and easily managed and maintained by business users. So you don't have to call IT every time you want to tweak that allocation methodology, or the drivers that are impacting that allocation. So it really puts the power of pushing these costs down into the hands of the people who understand the costs and understand the relationship between the cost and the revenue, uh, and takes the middleman of IT out of the equation for you. So all of these modules, they work together. The data seamlessly flows between the ERPs and these particular products. And now would probably be a really good time to dive into the demo of NSPB. Um, well, actually, let me back up and do the benefits now. Well, you've seen what these tools can do. Um, but real quickly, NetSuite EPM provides some real tangible benefits to each of you on this call. If you're a CEO or CFO, it's providing strategic insights to drive profitability. So with profitability and cost management, you can identify which products or customers are highest yield, or maybe which ones are struggling, and maybe you should reassign resources to either boost those lagging products or maybe cut that product line altogether. Um, with these insights and with AI-driven insights, which is provided in the premium edition, IPM helps you stay ahead of these market shifts and these product changes by basically allowing you to make data-driven decisions in real time. For controllers, EPM is streamlining your time-consuming tasks. So with the management processes, you're able to do um, your process faster and reduce errors. Many companies report reducing the errors in the close process and account reconciliation process by 30%. So a third less issues to resolve during your close. And it makes sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So if you leverage the close management, task management functionality, you can make sure that you have a buttoned up process where, again, nothing falls through the cracks and it is executed in as most efficient way possible by keeping everyone connected to everyone else's tasks. And when one thing is complete and ready for someone else, they're notified that it's time for them to do their jobs. And then for FP&A managers, this is again a game changer because it's automating forecasting and providing multiple scenarios or versions for you to prepare different plans with different drivers and different expectations. And it does it all with unparalleled accuracy. So whether you're planning for growth or trying to navigate the uncertainty in the world, you are able to build an agile and reliable plan and present that to your stakeholders. So you benefit by saving time, reducing risk, and allowing you to scale faster and support, again, your stakeholders more efficiently. So now the deep dive. We're going to just switch over quickly to NetSuite planning and budgeting. And I'd like to show you in real time a live instance of the NSPB Standard Edition. So everything you see here that I'm going to show you today, this is available for the lowest cost to everyone straight out of the box. So it does take some configuration, but with today's version of NSPB, the configuration is automated. NetSuite and Oracle provided the tools to seamlessly integrate with NetSuite. And when correctly applied, this application nearly stands itself up, aligned with NetSuite and ready to go. So implementation costs are significantly lower with this current version of NSPB than with the previous legacy versions that NetSuite had sold in earlier years. So, but if you still have those older ones, then all the other EPM products that you talk about can still integrate with your older NSPB, that might be more custom and more tailored, specifically. And then also because this is out of the box, it's a tighter. This is called the financials module. It's a little tighter deployment, meaning there's less customization within this particular financials submodule, but you still have the same ability to enhance, tailor, and customize this product as you did the older ones through custom cubes and custom reporting cubes. One difference between standard edition and premium is that you get one custom cube in standard edition, whereas in premium you get three. Both of them give you a reporting cube. Um, and both of them have the same financials application that you're going to see, but premium includes IPM or intelligent performance management, which I'll explain a little bit more in just a minute. But we're starting with reporting and analysis. And let me actually go to the CFO dashboard. So this is where your CEO and your CFO get instant insight into the performance of their company. Um, and you see things like let me go to the income statement first. Your trends for your revenue, expenses, and COGS kind of broken out. And of course, your high level KPIs with revenue, cost of sales, expenses, EBITDA, net income, as well as your growth percentages year over year. And then charts giving you insight quickly into your revenue by customer, OpEx. And you can drill in these too. They're interactive. So if I want to drill down into revenue, I should be able to do that. Oop, not allowing me on this one. But here, if I want to drill down into customers, I can see it by category. Your OpEx, same thing. I can see that live. Drill down. So these are dynamic, they're interactive, they give you visibility quickly into the key elements of your business. And then on the balance sheet, we have a very similar view here. Again, if these don't meet your needs, we can basically copy these dashboards and tailor them to suit the information that's most important to you, or create new ones that have additional information that's lacking here. So it's expandable. We have financial reports pre-built out of the box, your income statement, the integration between NetSuite and the EPM products includes both data and metadata. So this report, this income statement, it's aligned with the NetSuite chart of accounts. And if you were to add a new posting account at any point in time on the NetSuite side, at the time that the data integrations occur, that new account will flow into this application as well, and it'll just automatically show up on this report. There's no maintenance required to do that. So it stays seamlessly integrated and aligned with the ERP. So we have our income sheet, our balance sheet, again, straight out of the box, and cash flow. And as far as cash flow goes, it does support both the direct and indirect methodologies. And of course, you could tailor this. Some companies will do a hybrid, but this can be customized to meet your needs as well. And then lastly, from a kind of executive perspective, we want to see how the company is performing against budget. So we have our variance reports, and we can go into any department and see what their budget was, what their actuals are, what the variance is. And then we have commentary by the department managers come in and insert this. And then the executives can come in and read those. They're in real time. So if you were to kind of go in and now post a question to that in here, that would be saved, and that department manager could come in, review your question, and respond to that. This is, again, where kind of everyone working off of the same data in real time makes it collaborative and much more efficient, but also ensures that everyone is seeing the exact same data playing from the same sheet of music here. So we have different variety of reports, different commentary, again, straight out of the box. So let me go now over to revenue and gross margin. So we start here with a revenue dashboard, which is showing it by item. So we can go up and pick our revenue account, and it's going to break it out by the items that make up items whose sales were posted to this account up here. And we got all of them. And then notice that just pay attention to the fact that there's this version up here, which right now is the base version, but we'll get to that towards the end. But I just want to point it out because you'll see that consistently across all of these screens. Let me go back up to the revenue by customer. This is where we're going to actually create the budget. So if I go down to, let's see. You'll see that I'm now able to view this by customer category, and it's showing me the sales revenue line, the customers here, and the product that I want to plan for, and the class of that product. As I scroll across, I see the white cells represent enterable cells. This is where the current budget and forecast is. You'll see that it's a rolling forecast, meaning you're basically budgeting for the remainder of the current fiscal year. And it can be a fiscal year or calendar year, supports either. So if you're not on a January 1 to December 31st calendar year, you can adapt this to fiscal years. But it will do a rolling actuals, populating with the latest actuals up through the last closed month, and then extend out. Now this example here is out just 1 year, but this is configurable, so you can change this to roll forward 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever your preference is. Obviously, if you go out too far, you can't see that far into the future. It's not that valuable, and it does slow down your system, but you can actually plan out for as far as you would like to. If I scroll back over to the left, you'll see that we have the ability to trend our actuals. So this is where the time saving comes in, because we have various methodologies that allow us to work with our historical actuals and guide us to what the future will look like. We can select a 3-month through 12-month rolling trended average and apply that trended trend to future time periods. We could just take our prior actuals and or we can do manual, and I'll show you why manual might be relevant here. Not only if you have there may be a situation where this particular model is too simplistic for your revenue planning and you really want to do that offline or in another system, but you do want to load it into here so you can measure against it. Making this manual allows you to upload results from any other external system that you might have come up with, and then they'll be preserved. Nothing's going to trample over them. Um, if we want to pick, say, prior year actuals, we can put an adjustment in there. So you could do, if you're talking revenue, you're hoping for a lift or want to increase revenue by 5% this year, we would put in 5%, and that's going to carry that forward. If you're talking about costs later, you can adjust them down. So also with manual, so aside from trending these actuals and getting new numbers for that very quickly, we have in the standard edition. So there's two types of intelligence built into the product that Oracle used to charge tens of $1,000s a user for not that long ago, but has now incorporated this technology into the heart of these applications. One of them is the ability to do um, what's called predictive planning. Now, this is really just advanced statistics and, oops, I can't do that. Sorry, ahead of myself. Um, Switch screens here. This is what happens when you do it live. All right, so I'm going to drill down into our customers. Once again, I see the history and I see these numbers here. And because I had tagged that as manual over on the other screen, I'm able to come in here and go to predictive planning. And now it's going to show me the trend of that particular intersection there and scale that out. It's trying to fit a lot on the screen. So, and I can come in and begin to manipulate this line. And adjust things in real time here. I've scaled my. And it's made a prediction already. So what this is doing is applying a Monte Carlo simulation against your historical actuals, and from that deriving a smoother trend line that is driven by the probabilities exposed by this historical data for this particular product. So you can go through and review these results, and if you like them, then you can submit them back to the database, and that becomes your new forecast. If you don't like them, then you can just simply dismiss this screen and go back to the another number. Now, this is included in the standard edition. In the premium edition, NetSuite has something called Intelligent Performance Management. And whereas this activity is kind of just going down at a given cell intersection that you see here, you're working with it very tactically, but you're still able to access that Monte Carlo simulation to project those results. IPM, on the other hand, is using artificial intelligence to go down to the lowest granular level of your data and spot trends and correlations and things, anomalies that are hidden from you at the higher levels, and then make adjustments and recommendations in another version that you can compare to your base version and drill into and see those insights. So it's really the artificial intelligence is actually making those connections between, let's just say, an expense. If your revenue goes up, your support costs are going to go up. Your call center costs are going to increase because the more you're selling, the more people have their hands on your product, whatever it is, the more they're going to call in and ask for help. So if you're trending revenue up and it notices that you're not trending these connected expenses that go along with revenue, it's going to point those out to you and it's going to trend those in correlation to your increases in revenue. It will figure out what those drivers rates are. So if revenue is X% and you've traditionally spent this amount on help desk, then it's going to be able to apply those same rational relationships to your increase in revenue. So that's a very powerful tool. Now that is a real game changer, and that's what the premium edition will enable you to take advantage of. So that's also comes to play over in the OpEx model. Show you quickly that one. Um, what this model here is doing, let me actually start with our planning here. So here, department by department, we go through and we can use the same methodologies um, to basically trend our data forward. So using historical actuals to predict future results, or we can do this, someone can go offline as a department manager and use whatever drivers they want in Excel, come up with this plan and submit it back in very easily. They can either copy and paste it here, or I'll show you how they can do that directly in Excel. So this is at a department level. Um, as you change departments, it'll reflect the accounts and data that are relevant to that particular account. Um, Going back to here, we can see the same trending methodologies. Here they want a 10% across the board reduction in expenses. They're using a 6-month trailing average to drive that with the reduction. So you see it went from 25 to 22. So with these assumptions in place, when new actuals come in next month, you really don't have to do anything. The model, once we load the data, there's a process that will automatically reforecast forward months. And these numbers are just going to automatically change based on those assumptions. So if September came in as 30, then that 10% reduction would kind of take into account that the impact of that higher expense and adjust for that. And at the end of the day, whether it's revenue or expenses, you have the ability to go in and put a topside adjustment in on any line for any reason. And it also allows you to post at a top level inputs to your non-OPEX, non-revenue accounts too. Then, of course, you get, again, a quick trend line here. And then I started here with the dashboards. You get quick insight. You can drill down, see details very quickly. Again, all of this is out of the box and very easily configured now in the standard in both versions. And then lastly, here's the version. I was pointing out that throughout the whole model, you can select a version. These versions can be the base, which is where kind of your baseline plan would exist. And then you can create, these are just ones, sample ones, but you can create any number of versions that you like and compare those versions on this screen. So you can name them what you want and you can create more if you want. And as you would go through, we can copy the base version into any one of these other versions and then go in and manipulate those in the same way. We would just at the top of those screens change the version that we want to work with from base to worst case and go in and put tighter reductions to expenses, say, or maybe lower assumptions on revenue. In best case, increase revenue assumptions. So that's our version builder. And then lastly, and then we'll get to questions and wrap up. I do want to just show you Smart View for Office. Gives you the ability to connect directly to the reporting cube. You can do ad hoc analysis, but you can also access all of the forms, reports directly in. So we had that income statement report that you saw, highly formatted. I can oops. Let me go back and hit refresh. Okay. Well, so much for live demo of that. Never fails. Uh, Let me just double check here. Should be able to go into one of these OpEx forms. Here you saw where I was doing the setting the trend methodology for a given expense. I can hit submit data from here. And now I can interact. I can put references to other sheets if I want to in here. If I wanted to change one of these. Now when I hit that, by the way, it changed that trend to be 9 months instead of 6, and it instantly returned those results. You saw how quick that worked. And if I go into set one of these to manual and submit that, I can come in and actually put cell references in here to any other workbook or worksheet that I want. And now I can link in and do things offline and very easily get my data into this form and submit my data. So there's a lot more you can do with SmartView. You could do, hours long session just on this, but I want you to see it live. This is a game changer for finance folks who live and breathe in Excel and want to be able to interact with this tool, not through the web, which may look pretty, but can be sometimes extremely frustrating based on limited screen sizes and the content overload in there. But with Excel, you have access to a tool you're familiar with and the efficiencies that go with that. So with that, we'll just kind of close out here, and I'll turn it back over to Brooke.
Thank you, Kevin. Let me get my screen here. All right, and I'm going to pass to Katrina to quickly go over NetSuite EPM packaging, and then we will close out with some questions.
Thank you, Brooke. Okay, as Kevin mentioned, these are Oracle products that NetSuite is now, they're making them available to our NetSuite clients by pricing them accordingly, a more feasible option. As mentioned, we've got the standard and the premium edition. What that means, in standard, only planning and budgeting or account reconciliation is offered in the standard package. They do have a lot of, for smaller organizations who may not need all of the functionality that's available, there is a little bit of a lighter version here. If you are interested in the close management, the narrative reporting, tax reporting, whatnot, that is part of the premium packaging. So another thing to be aware of, if you were to require more than 10 users in the EPM suites, it does require that you go to premium. The module cost is for standard. This is the list price, and we are seeing that NetSuite is really trying to make this a feasible financial option for clients. So there is discounting that they are offering, and especially if you are interested, like on the premium, and want to, have multiple of these modules, again, leveraging more discounting there. But your users are separate users for EPM in addition to your NetSuite users. So those users are 150 per user. And again, if you have an interest in getting a quote, contact your account manager, you want to get some ballpark pricing or whatever, just interested in learning more, we can definitely help you figure out what those costs would look like for your organization. And Brooke, if you want to finish up with any questions that might have come in.
Yes, so we're going to open it up to questions now. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the Q&A panel. Okay, let's see what we have here. Kevin, this question is for you, and it looks like since we're close on time here, we'll just have time to answer one question, then we'll get to the others that are in here after the webinar. But Kevin, can NetSuite EPM handle multi-entity or international operations, especially for tax reporting?
Yes. So multi-entity across all of the products. International, it can handle through multiple currencies in NSPB, as well as financial close management, and also across all the products. But more precisely through financial close and its integration with tax management, tax reporting. It can handle multiple legal entities in foreign countries, and then can handle the multiple currencies across those companies, dealing with and interacting and having transactions across countries in foreign currencies, and doing eliminations at the parent level for those legal entities that are in those foreign countries. So very powerful international reporting. And then on the tax module, as I said, it does support IFRS and OECD reporting. So it can handle pretty much everything that you would be required from a compliance perspective, both domestically and internationally.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kevin. Any of the questions that we did not get to, we will follow up after the webinar to answer your questions. And since we're running low on time here, we will wrap up. So the next steps after attending this webinar is just to, well, we've already done the first step, attend one of the webinars. And from this webinar, if there are more pieces of the EPM that you are interested in, please reply in the survey and let us know what you might be interested in seeing more of. The next step is to schedule a 30-minute discovery to receive some budgetary pricing on any of the other modules or any of the modules that you might be interested in. And then finally, buy the EPM product and get started on your performance management journey. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. We are excited to be kicking off our summer series. The next communication about our kind of other products that we will be demonstrating will be coming out shortly, and our next webinar will be towards the end of June. Thank you everyone, and have a great day.